do this, and he'll put the nose forward for you.
That was my first time out here.
Yeah. Especially if you're going far. That car, your trailer will be doing it. You get 30 for you. It's a horrible feeling. First time I ever told them, man, they didn't.
I hauled the exact same car backwards just like he was about to load it. It wasn't too bad, but yeah. We had no choice. Yeah, we had no choice to drag it on backwards.
You got a choice, trust me.
Appreciate the input. Do I just go inside and grab the title and keys then?
Yes, yeah. Yep.
I don't know what to say. I ever tell you that I hate working on cars? I'm really tired of working on cars.
Yes, but I just recorded that. What did you just do to that poor truck?
Let's take a look at our $2,200 purchase. Do a little walk around. All the airbags are deployed. We've got the Honda Odyssey that I still haven't looked at since it broke down. And we've got my new $2,200 purchase. Spent all of my money on payday to buy this car. Why did I do that? Well, why is that a good thing? Why did I purchase this vehicle and spend all of my money? Because about 2 months ago, my wife's vehicle, 2013 X1, this is a 2015 X1, her N20 engine had suffered a timing chain failure, and it ended up damaging the top end, damaging the cylinder head. I did some price shopping. A used cylinder head was anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. A used engine went anywhere from $1,500 to $4,000 running, and that's from like a supplier, used engine supplier. Private deal, I could have got a used engine for $1,500, but that's off like Facebook Marketplace, and your mileage may vary. Most of those engines were already pulled from the car, and I'm just gonna have to trust the person that it runs. It was fine. I don't want to do that, so I figured for that kind of money, everyone on Marketplace wanted $1,500 or more for a used engine. So for that kind of money, I said I can get a whole running driving car for that. Well, this car allegedly runs. Hopefully it runs. We're going to verify that, but come on in here. We do have significant front end damage, which isn't really bothersome to me. I mean, we got a frame rail pushed out of place. I think we could probably patch this car back together and get it running and driving, but we'll talk about that later. This is an all-wheel drive vehicle. The axle's ripped out on up there. It's destroyed, but the lower control arm, I don't know if you can see it in here. Get back here. The lower control arm is completely ripped from the knuckle. So, and it does have two of them. So, I don't know that this car will be movable. I don't know if it will. I don't know if we can move this vehicle if it does run. That's why I kind of left it on the trailer for now. I do need to verify that it runs though, so I'm gonna hook up a jumper battery or something and power it up and just see if it'll start. I don't know. I don't even know if it has a battery in it because I can't get the lid open without battery power. So we'll do that. Stay up. Supposed to be around. Connected to the trailer battery. No sparks, nothing happened. I didn't hear anything. Let's go see if we can open the back lid now. Ooh, still won't open. Okay, so I guess I'll go get the key, and I don't even know if this battery has enough to charge, so this may be an adventure. I don't hear it doing anything. Maybe this battery's dead. Grab the battery out of my Ford truck. I know this is fully charged because I just started it up like yesterday. Still didn't hear anything happen. There's the key. Doesn't do anything. That's not a good sign. How am I supposed to start this and verify that the engine's good if it doesn't even like power up or anything? So it does have a battery. Obviously it's dead. There is a secondary release cable back here to get the hatch open. So now we got the hatch open. We can take a look at the battery, see what's going on here. I would imagine that, you know, during the impact, maybe we had a major short circuit and one of the mega fuses back there blown. Hard to say. Everything's tight here. I gotta go get a voltmeter or something. $5 voltmeter, multimeter, it'll work just fine. Even cheaper free test light that I made. .9 volts, and I've got that other battery hooked up under the hood. So I would kind of suspect that there's maybe a cable severed or like I said, a blown mega fuse somewhere. I guess I don't have to be too careful with this car. .9 volts right at the end of this cable, which I would assume goes that way. Right at the end of this cable, so whatever it is not something blown here. Maybe I need to wiggle my jumper cables, but I mean it should be showing a full 12 volts back here because there's not really any current going through that I know of. Getting 12 volts here, so I guess I need to take a look at the wiring schematic and see where that cable goes from there. Might have to crawl underneath and take a look at the starter cable or something. Maybe it junctions there. I would suspect that maybe the ground cable is severed over on this side, because if I remember correctly, the ground cable's on that side. Okay, it ended up getting too dark and too late, so today's a new day. We're gonna connect the jumper cables right directly to the battery. Now, I already did this last night, and look at that. The dome light comes to life. So as you can see, the dome light is now on when I'm attaching the jumper directly to the battery instead of under the hood. I did a little research and checked out the wiring schematic. I found that this cable runs directly from this stud under the, in the trunk area, and it goes directly to the jump start lug under the hood. So I figured, well, the only way that we could be experiencing this, what we had last night, was we had a fully charged battery connected under the hood, yet none of that was getting back here. Okay. Last night, what I did was I connected it just like this. I connected directly to the battery. I found that everything powered up. And then when I checked voltage under the hood, I had no voltage. All right, so like I said, I have that fully charged battery connected back there to directly to the vehicle battery. And I'm going to connect this voltmeter and test what I'm getting under the hood at the jump start lug. And I'm basically getting 0. Reposition so that you can see that. Basically nothing. So that implies that there is a completely open circuit either from this jump start lug to the battery, or the ground cable from the engine block is completely severed. I already looked at the ground cable and it does not look like it was damaged at all. So I'm suspecting we have a problem on the hot side of things. So we've got a complete open circuit from the jump start lug back to the battery. Back here in the laboratory, I've got the schematic pulled up. The battery is here, B plus is here. Let's follow this cable over here to the luggage well B plus terminal point. So that's the stud inside the trunk area. And if we follow that, it goes directly to the jump start terminal. And then from there to the starter, and then to the alternator, the generator to charge the battery. So here's what's concerning to me. I just spent a bunch of money on this car that allegedly runs. And potentially, if this B plus circuit from the jump start terminal to the battery is open, how would the starter possibly function? So that tells me that maybe they didn't start it at all and they didn't confirm that it runs at all. However, here's what I think that happened. I think that they had a fully charged vehicle battery, and then what they probably did is when it didn't start, it failed to start, they probably connected a jump pack under the hood, thus supplying the starter with the voltage that it needed to crank the engine. In its current state, I'm almost certain that it will be a no crank condition. Even if I try to start it, it doesn't have a crank, so it doesn't have a key, so I can't turn it to start it, but I can press the button. If I press the button and try and start it, it will probably not crank at all. So I will probably have to complete the circuit by jumping across our the open B plus circuit here. But why is it an open circuit? During my research, I did actually find the reason why is it an open circuit. Unfortunately, they do not show us on this schematic. We're actually missing a very important piece of information. Here we have another schematic basically showing the exact same circuitry. We've got the battery, the B plus, and the B plus terminal in the luggage well, the trunk area. That goes directly to the jump start terminal, and then that goes directly to the starter, and from the starter we branch off to the alternator. So this is just a different schematic showing the exact same information. However, this schematic is also missing this key piece of information. So knowing that we have deployed airbags and knowing that on some vehicles we may have a device that is activated by the airbags that may disconnect battery power, generator, safety battery terminal with 2 wires going to the crash safety module, the airbag module, we have deployed airbags. We would assume that if we have power going under the hood, it would be a good idea to disconnect that power in the event of a crash so we don't also have a fire resulting from an electrical short. So, unfortunately, this device is missing from those other power distribution schematics, and I don't have access to an actual factory schematic, so I couldn't tell you if that information is included on a factory schematic. But the schematics that I have available to me do not say anything about that safety battery terminal. Had some barking dogs there. So anyways, like I said, if we had an open circuit, which we almost certainly do because it's a triggered airbag device, if we have an open circuit, how could they have possibly started it? They would have absolutely had to. They would have had to have a fully charged vehicle battery and simultaneously been jumping it under the hood to supply power to the starter. So if I do that, it theoretically should crank. I don't know if it'll start. Hopefully it does. But otherwise, I could jumper across that device. Let's go take a look at the car. I don't know. Maybe you can actually see the car that we're going to put the engine into in the reflection. But I really hope that engine runs. Yeah, so back here in the donor car, here's the B plus terminal right at the battery. And here's the little disconnect device here with the 2 little wires going to it from the airbag. So this device must have deployed and disconnected this cable from the battery. So this is the cable that goes to the luggage compartment stud, and then from the stud it goes directly under the hood. So I've got it powered up with the battery, the jumper battery, the donor battery, whatever, connected back here. Obviously we have dome lights. Like I said, I almost guarantee it will be a no start or no crank. And then before I attempt to start this, let's take a look. Should I even attempt to start this? How far back was all this junk pushed back? And is it touching the engine? Did it hit the engine? Did it damage the engine? It's really hard for you to see, but I could see down there that, there's like a duct or something touching the crank pulley, but other than that, it looks to be okay. Maybe a little touching there. I already looked inside of here. Low coolant. Basically nothing. Nothing. Because the radiator is just destroyed. Looked pretty clean in here. The timing chain guide does not really look new, so I don't think it's been done under the campaign. Or if it has, it was a while ago. So I guess let's go see what happens when I try and start it. And then since we're down here, take a look at the destroyed axle. So even if I do get it running, I mean, I think it'll probably move under its own power because we've still got one ball joint attached. But, I mean, this axle, look at that axle. It's just hanging there. So if it moves under its own power, it ain't going to be pretty. Okay. Let me just turn it on first. Let's see if the screen will wake up. No, this has a totally different screen. So maybe I can't get my oil information. I don't know how to get my oil information. You can hear the starter click, but we already knew it was never going to crank because the B plus terminal to the starter is actually open circuit. So now we have to jump under the hood or jump across the blown battery disconnect device. For the sake of convenience, because I already have the one battery back here, I'm just going to connect a second set of jumper cables to the ground and to the stud, the trunk stud, if I can reach it down there. So now, with that connected, it should crank. I'm working by myself today, so you get what you get camera-wise. Ooh, that battery is a little weak. Or maybe those jumper cables are crappy. I switched jumper cables around. I put the good ones to the starter and the crappy ones to power everything else. Yeah, that battery must have been sucked down from... I left it connected to the dead battery for too long. That's what happened. I let it charge for a little bit. I turned off the dome lights. I don't know that it charged enough to actually start, but I hope so because I'm kind of impatient and I don't want to move another car around to jump it. Ooh, God. Well, this may have to be a project for tomorrow because it's getting dark pretty fast. All right, well, last night I ran out of time again and my jumper battery was dead. So overnight I charged both the battery in the vehicle and my donor battery from my Ford truck. Now we've got power. I can hear the key doing stuff, and when I open up the hood I could hear the fuel pump run. So I think it's gonna start this time, or at least I hope so. Well, it didn't start, but that's kind of to be expected. I suspect that maybe the airbag system being deployed has disabled the fuel. That would be plausible. But when it was cranking, at least the engine, it cranked over and it sounded pretty healthy, so I'm pretty happy about that. Okay, let's go inside the car and get the scanner hooked up. See if I can do something about the engine not starting, but I don't know that I will be able to. Look at that. 73,000 miles. All right, so here's the view that all three of you viewers are used to. Ooh, the horn works. Look at that. 73,882. So kind of low miles, and that's what had me primarily interested in this car. So we're going to connect the scanner. It's probably going to have a bunch of codes, and I don't know that I'll be able to do anything about the engine not starting. All right, scan tool is all booted up. We're going to start the screen recording. Click health report. We'll see what we get for codes. I might just end up having to spray some starting fluid in the intake duct and see if it'll run on that. I really don't care that I get this car running. I just want to make sure that the engine is worth pulling out and then putting in my other car. I don't want to go through all that trouble and find out there's something wrong with the engine. I'm probably going to tear it down. Like if this donor engine's good, I'm probably going to tear it down. Okay, our code scan's done. Gonna tear it down to the bare block and probably replace all the seals, all the gaskets, and do the updated timing set. Engine immobilizer. We've got LIN message alternator missing. Interesting. Power management total discharge. So it's obviously stored codes that it had a complete dead battery. Engine running blocked by electronic immobilizer. Interesting. Electric fuel pump crash cutout, battery positive. So obviously we know that the engine is not starting. Look at all the airbag codes. We know the engine is not starting because of the deployed airbags and the theft system. Evidently the theft. Report. I'm going to save the report before I clear these codes. Sure. Save the report before I clear the codes. I will clear the codes. Stupid thing. Clear codes. I hope those immobilizer codes don't come back. And then maybe just by erasing the codes it'll start. And immediately protection against tampering, response implausible. Should I go look up that code and see what I can do about it? Shut the ignition off. Take the key out. Obviously it recognizes the key. Nope. Clear codes. And this immobilizer from the engine control module, the immobilizer code does not want to go away. Safety battery terminal, see that in the airbag module? It says safety battery terminal. We talked about that earlier. Okay, well let me go look this immobilizer code up and see what we can do about that, because I don't see in the airbag that it's saying we are preventing it from starting. So I sat down and did a little bit of research. I'm running out of daylight again. It's getting dark, it's getting cold. I can hear the frogs and the crickets. So I was into the research and I picked up a camera operator, my son, and my son asked the question, what did you ask? He said, can you just reset the car? And I thought to myself, I was like, oh, you know what? That battery was completely dead. It had like almost 5 volts, but the battery was still connected. So in the past I have seen this where the battery gets so low that the computer, it's basically logic locked, it's frozen up, and sometimes the best remedy is to disconnect the battery. So that's what we're going to try and do, just as a preliminary step. If that doesn't work, I guess I'll chase down the immobilizer code, but I could probably get the engine to run just on starting fluid. I may just try that. Maybe it'll be good practice to diagnose an immobilizer system. Don't know. Okay, so we'll time it, give it about 5 minutes, maybe short the cables together to completely dissipate any energy, and then we'll try it again. Reconnecting the battery. Reconnect the mess of jumper cables. Let's go see if it starts. Let's go see if anything changed. And take the light. Alright, so now we're working in the dark. My son's scanning it again to see if that anti-theft or immobilizer code comes back. I think I'm just going to hit it with some starting fluid real quick and be done for the night. Yeah, I don't know what I would do with this car. Maybe I could see dropping a big old engine under here and then a transmission here. Who knows what I'll do with this thing? We'll do some hillbilly Frankenstein stuff to this car. Where's the starting fluid? Okay, you got your foot on the brake? Mm-hmm. And do you see where the start button is?
Yes, I do.
Okay, press and hold the start button. Let's see what happens. So evidently, when the ECM says engine is prevented from starting, they really mean engine is prevented from starting. So they must also disable the ignition system. I'm going to be done for the night and go do some research. Well, another day has passed. I did some research and I found that apparently it's somewhat common for this to happen with an immobilizer fault after the battery has been dead for quite a while. Apparently what happens is that the CAS module, the car access module, loses synchronization with the DME module, otherwise known as the engine control module. So the engine control module is losing synchronization with this, essentially a body module slash theft module, and allegedly you can resynchronize it with the scan tool. So I've already had a long day at work. This is the 14th vehicle that I will be working on today, so if that doesn't work in a couple clicks of the scan tool, I'm done for the day. And then if I still can't get it to run, what choice do I have other than to test the compression and pull the engine out and take it apart and inspect it, which I plan to do anyway. If I was going to use the engine, I was going to take it completely apart and put all the updated parts in it anyway. So we'll see. Got a little visitor there. All right, let's see what we can do. Okay, we're gonna go to system selection, body. I think we need to go to the CAS module. Is it in this list? No. Chassis. Really, it was in the drive system. They did say try to reset the CAS module. The cluster just flashed when I did that. Control unit has been reset. There was another tip that I read was to reset the starter interlock. I hope the scanner can do that. Maybe that's in the ECM. Delete fault memory. Yeah, I don't know. This scan tool might not have the capability to do it. Okay. So I'll run the health report, let it finish its thing, and then clear all the codes and attempt to start it, and it probably still won't start, but what can I do? Actually, you know what? I don't think that those codes come back this time, because last time they came back immediately. But we'll see. Shut it off, take the key out. Another thing was the hood switch, and the hood switch is, I'm sure, destroyed, so we may have to trick the computer into thinking the hood's closed. No, it's not going to start. Run the health report again. I bet the Immobilizer code has come back. Some of the tips that I was reading said that the CAS module is common to get corrupted and you actually usually have to replace it. Engine running blocked by electronic immobilizer. So, I don't know. I guess I'm done for the day. May just be stuck pulling the engine out and not hearing it run beforehand. Now I just feel like a dunce because it was actually on the first page that I clicked right past it a few times. It says anti-theft system. And the anti-theft programmer that I don't have. Uh-oh. Is this an accessory that I can add on to this tool? Interesting. It's going to fail because I don't have the programmer. Yeah. Guess I can't do anything with it for now. Okay, I did find something in the recoding menu. Recode the CAS module. And something's happening on the dash. Should I do the ECM also? It's a wrecked car, so I mean, what do I have to lose? Something just happened under the hood. This cat invading. It's probably still not going to start. Nope. we're done here. See you tomorrow. Well, I keep trying to quit, but the cat insists that I continue to try. Stop. Get out of here. Alright, off camera, I was playing around special functions, drive, scroll all the way down, electronic immobilizer, reset, starter, lock. Is that what they were talking about? Switch on ignition. We're going to lie and say yes. Starter lock has been successfully reset. Let me clear the codes. Yeah, that cat just loves to rip up these nice leather seats in here, huh? Don't do that. I could probably sell the seats. Anyone need some seats out of a 2015 X1? Clear codes. Codes have been cleared. Looks like the ECM code still just comes right back. Yep, we're done. The next day I borrowed the Matco Maximus 4.0 scanner from the shop. It's got some immobilizer functions. We'll see what it can do. Stuff clicking in the, there's stuff going on here, so something's happening. Not supported, okay, well, thanks. I was taking a look under the hood here because I wasn't getting anywhere to just get it to run. I introduced starting fluid here, but then I followed the ducting and inspected it over here, and I found that the pipe is ripped right off, and the intercooler is cracked and split, so I don't think that the starting fluid actually made it to the engine. So could I potentially just take the duct loose here, introduce starting fluid, and hope that it runs for a few seconds so I can get on with it? Ooh, it runs. Ooh, it don't sound too good though. The good news is it did not spit any of its guts out the bottom. I do know that the crank balancer is rubbing on the ducting down here, so I think that might have been what was all the noise. Maybe just have to start taking this stuff out of the way and then try it again. I pulled a lot of this plastic stuff out of the way, and as you can see, the belt is rubbing right up against that duct. I might have to just take the belt off, maybe cut it, although it does kind of look new. But
That's what broke.
Timing chain guide here. I mean, a lot of the chunks broke off from up here, even. And like it's all this whole plastic piece from top to bottom. And there's like tons of metal and glitter. So this engine is probably roasted. I know that the top end's roasted.
How it's too long.
Have the work crew on it right now.
The tweaker wrecking crew. Tweaker strip down crew. Go ahead. A little more. Okay.
These are what the pieces are supposed to look like. And that's what came out of my car.
Go ahead and start it. Let's see. Go ahead. Awesome.